hand, and even the full recovery of this city, helping her rebuild herself, we should all be grateful as it relates to what we experienced on last night. A Category 4 hurricane slammed into our coast and sat on us for nearly 12 hours. The worst case scenario, it did not happen. We did not have another Katrina. And that's something, again, we should all be grateful for. However, the impact is absolutely significant. While we held the line, no doubt about that, now is not the time for reentry. And I'm just wanting to put that out there to our residents who did heed our warnings, took our advice, and evacuated the city. But now is not the time for reentry. We'll tell you a little bit more as we move through this press conference. Today is going to be a day for assessments across the board. We are only at the beginning of that process, determining what the actual impacts have been across the city of New Orleans. City agencies have been out since daybreak. They're going block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. No one will be left out. No one has been left out. NOPD began making checks last night and transmitting that information to our Orleans Parish Communication District, who is the receiver of that info and ensures that our departments gets the necessary information and the data to respond accordingly. But this is how we collect our data as relates to the full extent of the impacts to the city of New Orleans, again, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. We must absolutely address all of our challenges, and we will. And we did, and we do have some. Currently, as you know, we lost power citywide. We have Ms. Deanna Rodriguez, the CEO of Reentry, who will speak to that issue. But it is a challenge that, again, we will address and we will get through it as partners do. The Sewerage and Water Board were impacted by those challenges, but at the end of the day, held the line, did what we needed, our systems, our utility, what we needed our utility to do. Again, held that line. We did not experience any widespread structural destruction. We're still assessing, but from our assessments thus far, this remains a fact. Of course, we had some buildings collapse, we had some fires and the like, but I'm talking about extensive damages in terms of destruction. So far, we have not had reports of massive loss of life, but we did have a tragedy. And one is too many. More details on that will come as we're able to thoroughly assess, and particularly the coroner's office. But we do know that it was a tragedy where we believe an individual was driving a car and therefore drowned. Again, that information will become official through our coroner's office. One is still too many. The systems, again, we depended on to save lives and protect our city did just that, and we are grateful. But there's so much more work to be done, and that's why now is not the time for reentry into the city of New Orleans, especially as we determine how the city may need to respond to the needs of our surrounding parishes as well. We will be a neighbor, and we will be a good neighbor in spite of the challenges that we have. Again, if you evacuated, we're asking you to stay where you are. We will notify you as soon as possible when it's safe for you to come home. And this is mainly associated with a lack of power sources in our city and throughout the city. Residents that are here now in the city of New Orleans and visitors, we need you to be careful. We need you to stay in your homes, stay in your neighborhoods. Now, you've heard me say many times, the residents are first responders amongst themselves in their neighborhood. We'll be working closely with our New Orleans City Council members, side by side, addressing district-wide and neighborhood issues in terms of how we can respond in real time and as best as possible where you are in the neighborhoods that you're in. Neighborhood leaders, we know who you are. You know us as well. Reach out if you can. We know that, again, communications have been compromised. But one thing that we also recognize is that we still have the ability to send text messages. AT&T and Entergy are doing everything that they can. Sonia Perez, the president of AT&T, we've been in direct communication. They're boots on the ground, and they're going to help us in the meantime stand up remote operations for cell phone charging and the like. But again, more to come. I believe this time it's going to be best for us to pivot to those assets in neighborhoods. But again, more to come. We're planning this out now. We were also planning for, in the event we should need to stand up a post-disaster evacuation. Doesn't look like that is something that we have to do at this time. But we had to make sure we planned accordingly to therefore face the challenges in order to address the needs of our people. As I mentioned, our people in our city, our residents, need to stay put. Again, power and communication are critical issues, and you are going to hear again more from Entergy as well as AT&T. Nothing has a quick fix. But what I also understand in terms of power, and you'll hear a little bit more, we are not in the same situation as we saw our brothers and sisters in as it relates to Lake Charles relative to power sources. But boots on the ground with Entergy, Ms. Rodriguez will give you more. While the power is down and we are dependent on generators, I'm calling all of our people and businesses that have the capacity in the city to be good neighbors, as I know you will be. Now, I have heard a little rumors, and we're going to fact check about people being displaced from hotels. We're going to follow up with that after this press conference. I just got that information actually prior to coming out. So I don't have any official responses for you relative to that. It could be associated with their lack of power or generation capacity. We don't know. But for the businesses that we know or they know have the capacity to provide some source of power to the community, we ask for you to notify the city again and be good neighbors. Share the power you have. Open your businesses for the people to recharge their devices as well as meet their ongoing needs. That's how we're going to get through this. No doubt about it. That's how we got through it, even in the aftermath of Katrina. Neighbor to neighbor, shoulder to shoulder, working in partnership. I'm proud of our city. I'm proud of our people. The resiliency, it shined through the darkness that Ida brought our way. But we're going to continue to be the light in the city of New Orleans. And we're going to shine brighter than we've ever shined before because we've proven our ability to be prepared. We've proven our ability to hold the line. And I want to thank the federal government, the president, President Biden, who I will have to leave here about 12:30 to take that call. But the federal government's response was right on. Having a declaration granted in the middle of the night, spot on. That's something that we should be grateful for. More information will come to you about that federal declaration that therefore drives the response of FEMA. We're going to make sure that that information is not only shared, but in partners in terms of our media. You're partners in this. And as partners, we're going to make sure that we communicate effectively to our people so that they can respond the way that we need them to, as it relates to getting information, but also accessing resources like FEMA. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to turn it over to Colin Arnold, as you know, who serves as our Director of Homeland Security. We're going to run through many different speakers that are essential to this response. We also have our council members who are standing with us. We're going to move through, and I'll take Q&A afterwards, but you know how this works. But thank you all so much for your partnership. Thank you all so much for your response and your commitment and dedication. Colin Arnold.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you know, good morning, good afternoon. As you know, Hurricane Ida moved out of our area early this morning after sitting over New Orleans for really a day. We have significant impacts in the city, but I want to take a moment to recognize how well we fared given our circumstances, and to let the neighbors to our west who have seen far more widespread and serious impacts that our thoughts are with you.